Then following up on him, you have Thomas Paine, and that he wrote several different things. The most important ones were, again, the Common Sense, which was the document that really sort of almost the the Revolutionary War, shaped the movement for independence. And one of the greatest things about that is that it wasn't just like rah rah rah. We're like we're colonists. We don't want government. Like we don't want UK governing over us anymore. It was more, again, akin to like the Declaration of Independence, where with the 28 different indictments that they handed down against the UK government and the king, that Thomas Paine in Common Sense actually said, it's not just we want our own independence. We don't want anything to do with anything that you set up. We don't want to have a House of Parliament. We don't want to have a House of Commons. We don't want to have anything like that. We want to set up our own form of government and set up a
He was
Republican form of
one of the
government.
first people who talked about having representative government.
Right.
And it was in that pamphlet of Common Sense. Now, something that people often don't know about Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine was originally, and before doing all of the stuff with Common Sense, had been an abolitionist. He was one of the first abolitionists. Mm-hmm. And he had started and co-founded one of the first abolitionist societies in the colonies. Once he heard and news came down to Philadelphia where he was, and I would say a little more than a little bit of kismet for this country that he was in Philadelphia, and we'll get to that in a minute. But once he heard of the shot heard around the world and the skirmishes and the fights that went on in Lexington and Concord in 1775, as Lou said, it wasn't automatic communication like we have now. It took a while for that information to get down to Philadelphia from the Boston area. Once he heard of that, he shifted his focus towards independence. He said, we don't need this. We don't need the British government. We don't need the crown. He was very much a radical about it. And he, in fall of 1775, began writing Common Sense, which was published in January of 1776, 250 years ago.
Right. Exactly.
And where was he again? In Philadelphia. Where was the Constitutional Congress set up? Philadelphia. I think there are writings, and I don't know, I wish I could give exact quotes from the different sources, but in my readings and research, there were a number of different passages from a number of different historians who took account from the time of 1776, after the Declaration of Independence was drafted, signed, and released. Our founding fathers, almost to a man, said, yeah, that pamphlet of Common Sense really swayed my view. That's how much power that pamphlet had to ring true in the ears of our founding fathers, that independence was the route we needed to take.